Ladies and gentlemen, crypto heads around the world, the Monday Kickoff with real Daniel Nitze and Mr. Spread. Like, share, subscribe, and enjoy.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Daniel. Welcome back, man. Nice to have you here. How are you?
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm here to talk about our savior or not savior, Bitcoin, right? Or China. I'm here to talk about China because things are happening in China. But as I can see now, the markets really like it for now. You know, the markets are really strong. But I think we're going to touch that point because everyone is with China. In their mouths right now is like, what the hell is happening there? Everything is collapsing. You cannot trade anymore. I've seen something in regards to the stock market, like most of their stock market is like closed, like something is happening there. But you know, market is strong, like Bitcoin is strong, S&P is strong, like all-time high. Jerome Powell was pretty decent in his speech last week. The labor market is strong, so nothing to worry, I would say, for now. How do you see it, Mr. Spread? Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned because actually I retweeted one of my tweets. I think I posted this in September last year when Chinese index Hang Seng, and actually let me share the screen. The Chinese index Hang Seng was dropping. We were, sorry, 1 second. Yeah, let me know if you see it.
Now we can see. Now we can see it.
When we were around this area, my first target was around 17,000 and my second target was around 14,600. We were very shy of it. And after this is where the People Bank of China and the Chinese government made some interventions. And after that, we saw this bounce. The curious thing for me right now is that a lot of people, I think, which either are sidelined, either are heavy bearish, or both, they're bringing up China into the discussion. But it's very interesting from one perspective is that in all the rallies, so it's Chinese news are nothing new, right? So look at this. China is dropping since 2021. I mean, and people are focusing on what's happening here, right? So what's happening since not even here, because almost nobody was mentioning China and Hang Seng index last year. I was just looking at it because I was doing some correlation with the Japanese index.
Maybe you can do a full screen, put us down, and I think would be better to see the. And maybe you can add perfect. This is perfect.
Okay, so let me open my. Sorry, 1 second. Let me open my favorites then. So if we want to do it like this. Perfect. So this is what I was saying is like, I don't understand the latest panic or maybe all the time, like we need some bullish narratives, right? Maybe also the bears or the people who are not necessarily the bears, but people who are heavily in one direction. Because as you know, and as you also are, we like to flip when the price or where the market tells us to flip. If we're bearish, we stay bearish. If we're bullish, we stay bullish. And we do this as best as we can. You, me, and people who are in this market for quite some time own their mistakes. We're never going to catch bottoms or tops, or we're not. If we do that, I think we're just lucky. But one of the most important things as a trader or as an investor is to recognize when markets shifts and to have that capability to be fluid, right? So, to be like water, exactly like Bruce Lee is saying, be like water, my friend, to have that quality to flip when the price tells you, especially on long market structures. But let's get back to China, because China for me is very interesting. Like I was saying, since last year, and I have that tweet and it was basic market structure. I didn't care if it was Hang Seng, Mang Seng. I didn't care about anything. I was just looking at this market structure, right? And I saw that we are losing again this level. So we were opening this level and potentially we were opening also this level. Since then, the market reacted and we dropped another 20%. But people just panicked, or they're, posting a lot of food, or they're posting a lot of nonsense lately with this kind of move, and they're panicking here. Well, S&P 500 and Dow Jones and NASDAQ, they were rallying, right? So in all this move, right, the United States stock market, of course, with some bounces, United States stock market was rallying, and especially on this move. I mean, since September.
So it kind of likes it, right? Can we say that it likes it a little bit?
I can tell you why that is happening. And because I did some due diligence. I did some due diligence, and investors in China, or big investors, right? And I'm talking about Chinese investors. They know that kind of a strong regime and communist regime from China, you can put a lot of money in Chinese companies if you're like a local investor or even foreign investor, but it's almost impossible to take out that money, especially when you talk about important quantities. So even Chinese investors or other foreign investors, although these kind of companies from China were cheap, they choose or they opt out from Chinese investments, and they still went in the Magnificent Seven, or they went in United States companies because of these reasons. So as long as I don't know, as
long as the Chinese economy is like doing this, or let's say the stock market, because it's not really the same, but the Chinese economy is suffering as well. I think some Chinese people, the one that they can from Hong Kong mainly, they are interested more in investing in the stock market. Is that the right conclusion? Let's say.
Yes, but wouldn't you do the same, Daniel? Let's say you would have. You would be like an ultra millionaire, and I really hope that you're going to be at some point in time, and you're going to have, let's say, a net worth of $200 million, and you would like to invest 10% or 20%, let's say, in stocks, correct? And you're in Hong Kong, and you want to invest $20 million in stocks, and you do your due diligence, you get the financial advisor, and what do you think that financial advisor is going to tell you? Invest in Chinese stocks? Like
100% no.
No, so
I think one thing to note here is that Chinese people usually deal in local currency, most of them, except Hong Kong. So imagine if they will not have communism there. Imagine how their stock market will look right now. That's like a subject to look into. If they will be able in the future, I don't know, I don't think it will be, to get out of get their funds out of China and invest somewhere else. Imagine how China will look. Like, I think would be a total collapse from my point of view.
I don't know if it would be a collapse, because even now the rich people in China, they're already diversifying, right? So they're investing in other assets or in other stock markets around the world, especially in the United States. But
most of their dealing is in local currency, in Chinese yuan. That's why.
But they invested in a lot of real estate around the world, throughout the countries, even from Asia. I know that in Vietnam they're one of the big investors, and especially in the United States, and not only in the United States. I think Chinese people did investments. Rich Chinese people did a lot of investments outside China in the last 20 years or so. I know for a fact that, for example, in Ukraine, I don't know exactly, but it's under 10%. So between 5 to 10% of the farming land in Ukraine is owned by China, and they're doing a lot of investments outside of China. Yes, also a lot of money is still there, but in the same time, I think this is just another myth. I think this is just another heavy bearish narrative, just to create more clicks or to create more engagement, and it's not presented fully, because it would have been presented fully. Someone would have showed, for example, let's remove the drawings from this chart. Okay, let's put back the index. Let's put it with some lines, so it doesn't look so messy. So this is the Hang Seng index, right, from Hong Kong. And on top of it, let's just see S&P 500. Let's see how it would look. Look how disconnected it was, right? So since October, look how disconnected this was. Okay, this dropped up until October, but look what happened afterwards.
Right? Divergence. It's a huge divergence from there.
Since March 2023, this was going only up, right? And this was going only down. Now, I don't know about this. Maybe this divergence is gonna continue. Maybe one of them is gonna close this gap. Maybe China is gonna come back stronger. It's gonna rebound. I have no idea. But why? I mean, when people are presenting this right now, why don't you present it from here? So from this moment when it started,
which is bullish for other markets, like for other markets like US, or maybe even like the Bitcoin market. If you put the Bitcoin chart on top as well and you add it, you can see probably something similar. But it would be interesting to see if you can add the Bitcoin chart on top.
Sure.
A bit less, but still correlated, as you can see.
It's a bit less. It's a bit less because
a bit later.
It's a bit later. Correct.
So but still a huge divergence. Yeah, still a huge divergence. When did the divergence kind of end? I think it was a bit later, right? In there a little bit, and then the biggest one is
so in September last year.
In September, yeah. So basically, for like short, medium term, might be good actually for the markets, because a lot of money are exiting Hong Kong and entering US. Mainly, and maybe some risk assets. I don't know if Bitcoin is still a risk asset. Probably is.
It is. It's still a risk asset. As long as as much as we want to not call it a risk asset, if you compare it to the bond market, if you compare it to the gold market, if you compare it to all of the stock markets in the world, it's still a risk asset because it's still young by market cap and also by time.
But how about long term? China is slowing down. Is that good for the world economy? That's the main question. Like,
but
if you think 1-2 years from now and China still like is slowing down, is that gonna be good for the markets in general, or for the world economy? That's the question, and my answer would be no. I don't think if China will slow down, probably the impact at some point is gonna end up in Europe and in US.
But there is a problem here.
Yeah,
there is a problem here. The economy is not the economy is not the stock market.
I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that
so
earlier. That is true.
If this is going like this, and if people are saying that China has problems, so what can we say about Germany, right? Because Germany, for example, Germany is in technical recession for 2 quarters, right?
Yeah.
And Germany, if I remember correctly, the manufacturing sector, so the PMI, the Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing, is in contraction since last year in April. So it's under 50 since April. And look what is the stock market look what is the stock market doing. Now, is this good? I don't know. I mean, this is like decorrelated, right? But in the same time, the stock market is not the economy, in my opinion.
But if I can add something on top of this, I think is so decorrelated right now because of the amount of money that was printed. Basically, that's how I think. I think the amount of money that was printed between 2020 and 2022, it's way higher than people can realize, and that's why probably the discrepancy between the economy and the stock market is so big in this moment of time. But that's just my theory. Of course, you can say yes or no, or you're wrong or something. But that's how I see it. I think there's too much money. There's too much money in the world right now, printed. That the stock market and the economy is very uncorrelated at this point in time.
Yeah, well, I was speaking about the lag effect all through last year, right? And actually, even in today's analysis for my guys, I was mentioning one very important thing is that last year when we went above this area, so in November, until this, I was bearish. When we took out the highs here and we printed the new high above the previous highs, I also became bullish because, and I will speak about S&P 500 since we flipped here. Last week when we were dropping, I think I was bombarded. I don't know why the algorithm was sending me only bearish charts. People were calling for tops again. People were calling for reversals. It's like, man, we are still above the all-time high. What are you talking about? That's why I said, if I'm going to get filled, unfortunately, I didn't get this area, but we have the bounce. And since I'm here, I'm going to be bullish here. I'm going to be bullish here all the way through all this area, even here. But I'm going to wait for a rebound if we get to here. But structurally, if I didn't know and I didn't look what asset is this, I couldn't be bearish. I mean, look at this. Like, I cannot be bearish on this type of chart. When I'm gonna go bearish,
Bitcoin, if you put Bitcoin,
exactly.
Same. It's like, you cannot be bearish like on a medium to long term. Like, you don't have anything. Maybe some small corrections here and there, but that's bullish corrections most of the time. So in a bull market. So I think the stock market, like, my view is, and we're gonna touch in a second what Jerome Powell said and what the labor market did. Because I think that's important. But I think till we see the first rate cut, I don't think the market's really gonna drop that much, and every pullback should be like a opportunity. But what I want to know before we go to what Jerome Powell said, would be interesting to see your view on the rate cuts, because now it's kind of May. It's gonna be in May probably. So I want to hear your thoughts in regards to the rate cuts. Do you think the rate cuts are gonna signal a local top or not?
No.
Really?
Well, I think this is the most important thing that we have to discuss also, because people, not necessarily they are lazy, but maybe they like to be spoon-fed, or they don't like to do a little bit of due diligence. The rate cuts are not always bearish. It depends also on the context in which you find.
100%. Yeah.
Depends also on the context in which you find yourself, right? So this chart, it belongs to Ryan Dietrich actually, and it was retweeted by Alex Kruger, with whom sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't disagree, but I respect his work and his views. He printed something very interesting regarding rate cuts, and it was going all the way back to 1984. Okay, so
Good
if
data.
we look, very good data and very important data to what happens when the Fed cuts, but besides the rate cuts, he added also the context in which the economy of the United States was finding itself when the Federal Reserve was cutting. And we have three types of scenarios. We have the normalization, we have the crashes, and we have a recession, right? So this is what happens. This is what happens to S&P 500 in 1 month, in 3 months, in 6 months, and in 12 months, depending on the context. Right. So if you want to, and if people want to see, they just can go to my profile or can go to Alex Kruger and find for this. But all in all, let's just read the conclusions. And he says very clearly, if we have rate cuts and we have a recession, it's bearish. If we have rate cuts and there is no recession, that's bullish. So it's also very important.
Clearly, but it's hard to know if you're gonna have a recession, right? You cut and then you kind of wait and see, right?
But it's also hard to know if you have a recession or if you don't have a recession. But until then, right now, right? If we start cutting, let's say if they start cutting in May, and until May there is no recession,
it might be the way I see it and the way I looked at it and did some analysis. Usually, when the stock market rises, basically in the event, usually it's a sell the event, sell the news, basically. So if you see the stock market going above 5,000 and you see Jerome Powell cutting in May, it might be a short-term impact negative, even though we have no recession, even though it's just the markets are like, okay, we're expecting this, whatever, and now it's happening, and we're gonna drop. It doesn't mean that we're gonna go into a recession. Don't get me wrong, but I think if the stock market will be above 5,000 till May, I think it's gonna be a drop when the first rate will hit the market, and then we'll see. Then if no recession will follow in a couple of months, I would say it's bullish. Bullish, and then probably we're gonna go, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10,000.
We don't even have to think about those scenarios because we have the data. Dan, we have the data here. So, for example, to what you are saying right here, if we have normalization, right, until then there is no recession, and we have the cut in 3 months from that. Look what happens to S&P 500,
correction,
right?
So correction. Most of the time.
It was nothing. Come on, it's like minus
still
1%.
A correction, though. Still a short-term correction. So
no, it was not. That was the only case. It was going higher. So here it was 1%. Here it was 5% 3 months after, and here it was 1.9%. So,
but that's in a recession as well. So
I think this is normalization. This is normalization.
Okay, so that's normalization. I see there. So I see first one is normalization, right? So it's minus 1% after first month and minus 0.7 after 3. And then we have a panic and a crash, and then the normalization again. We have a 0.9. Okay, interesting data. I would have to look at this, if you can share with me with Perfect, to see what the stock market did in these situations before. I think that would be interesting to put on top of, was the stock market going up or was the stock market going down into that moment? Because I think that's important to look at the data that way. But it's very good data. And I appreciate you putting on for people to see it.
It's not me, it's this guy. So it belongs to, like I said, to Ryan Dietrich, goes to him. So the props, and also to Alex Kruger. And I think that this is the reason. If you remember, I told you in the first Monday kickoff which we had this year, I think that if you go too much into the macro, you can really get sidetracked. And I have to admit that last year I was a little bit too much. That's why I said that I was around 10 to 15% from my framework was macro. And I made the promise that this year is going to be only 5%, because I think that because of what I was saying last year, because of the lag, we can have a lag for another one year and a half until something pops. right?
Correct.
And because of this extra capital, which we had, and I was speaking quite a lot last year about the extra capital that companies and also individual got to their pockets, and the lag effect can take much longer than that. On top of this, also Federal Reserve is not as, let's say, restricted as it was in the other years. And since then, I'm not going to say that this time is going to be different. I'm just saying that they have different tools. Look how they reacted last year when we had the Silicon Valley Bank fail and also the First Republic. I thought that we're going to crash hard. But what happened?
The Fed intervened.
The Fed intervened. They started again with the discount window and with the BTFP program, which basically allows distressed financial institutions, especially banks, to tap into that financial faucet whenever they have problems. And the stock market just rallied. Bitcoin started rallying, and the same thing also happened last week. I don't know if you saw the news, but some New York Bank Corp, which was basically the bank who took over the crypto operations from Silicon Valley Bank and from all the others, also went down at about 40%. What did the stock market do? Just went higher. Now, I want to mention this.
But that was a bit different because that was a single bank, basically, and it was not really in relation to the rates that much. It was a bit
bank?
different. It was a bit different than the one that you mentioned, the New York one.
Yeah, but it was not only that one. The whole regional bank sector fell about 20%. So KRE dropped 20%, or also even now, look what happened to KRE last week. So it dropped 10%, and from the highs around 11%. So all the regional banks are suffering right now because of the interest rates.
Yeah, because of what Jerome Powell said, that they're not going to cut in March. They're not going to cut till March, probably. Maybe May. I think May should be now the first cut that the market.
Why does it matter? If I would conclude right now, it's like let's just. I mean, we were speaking about so many things even through last year, and that's why when I saw that the S&P 500 goes above 4,420, so here, I also flipped bullish on the price, and I started focusing more on the price since then, and even more on the price since December. It's like the stock market can still rally towards 5,000, 5,500, 6,000. I'm not calling for 5,000 for 6,000, but let's say it rallies towards 5,000 somewhere here in the mid 50s, right? And after that, something
5,100 is my target before May. But let's see.
Let's just for the sake of the argument, let's say in May we're somewhere around 5,500, so another almost 10% higher, right? And after that we drop 20%. Do you see where it's gonna put us?
Yeah. The kind of support level from the.
So it's gonna put us exactly where this broke out.
Yeah.
The thing is, on for example, on Nasdaq, and this I have to give props to one of the guys in the group because he found this. He was looking, and he said to me back in, I think it was somewhere this is a weekly cup and handle. And the target for this weekly cup and handle is around 22,500. We spoke about it.
We spoke about it. Yeah.
Since then, Nasdaq is already up 15%, and I think that the next target is like it's in reach. I think, and I'm gonna say it again live. I don't know if I said it the last time, that Nvidia is gonna be the number one company in the world this year.
Okay, let's see. For now, it looks very, very good, and Meta is coming very, very fast from behind. Very good earnings for Meta as well. But I can see a comment from Dan on the chat that said there, traders can wait for cuts. Maybe you can put it on the screen. How can it be bearish? So traders are waiting for a cuts, right? But usually how the market works, it's already pricing in that cut. So usually,
correct,
in the time that takes before now and May, traders were already pricing in that cut. So usually what happens, as it happened with Bitcoin as well, traders were expecting the Bitcoin ETF, and then we went to 49K, and then we had a drop at the moment of the announcement a few days after. So usually that's how the markets react now, because they anticipate what's going to happen in the market, just to make it clear why that might happen when the rate will be cut. But we'll have to wait and see, because the data is interesting if we're not going to have a recession, and Jerome Powell will do soft landing. Then the markets, of course, are going to be very bullish, maybe a small impact on the first cut, and then all the way up, skyrocketing. But it's going to be interesting to see. I think till May, I think Jerome Powell, did you watch the conference? I think Jerome Powell is still waiting a little bit. he was a bit, yeah, we're seeing nice data right now. We're seeing the market strong. We're seeing the labor market strong, because we see, I think Jerome Powell knew already the numbers for the for the labor market. That's how I think, because that's why he said no cuts in March. 3.7% for the unemployment rate, and over 350 jobs added in the economy. Maybe you can pull out the Forex Factory to see. So basically, he said that the economy is strong, but he was asked, "Do you want to see the unemployment going up?" And I think for the first time he said, "No, not really. We don't need unemployment to go up, and we can stabilize the market, basically." But when asked about soft landing, he said he doesn't know yet. Like, he doesn't see that scenario just yet. He needs to wait for more data in order to say that. In inflation as well. So inflation, he mentioned that as well. For inflation, he said that, yeah, we can see inflation going down in relation to I don't know, food prices or gas and so on, but still not at the 2% level. I think the core CPI is looking good. The PC is looking good. The CPI, simple CPI, had a small bounce, but from his point of view, it's all good. Like, his fear was that the CPI or the core is going to stay above 2%. So this is what he said. Like, my fear is that the CPI is going to stay above 2%, 2.5, 3 in that range for a longer period of time, not reaching 2. So that was his fear, basically. And that's why he doesn't want to cut the rates just yet. But how did you see the last two events that we had? So the Jerome Powell speech, yeah, he said no cut in March, and the market react, because the market is crazy sometimes, it's like, okay, we have more time till May, why do you sell off? Oh wait, because we're expecting in March. Okay, sell off. And then of course we had the rebound immediately after. But how did you see it?
For me, nothing changed, because he didn't. I mean, I was not expecting. There was almost zero chance for them to do this right now, because the economy is resilient. I mean, why would you cut right now and risk the inflation to reaccelerate? Like, you have no reason. The stock market is like in all-time high, so there is no stress there, right? The job market is super tight. And we just see that, for example, okay, it came higher 3.8 2 months ago, but now the unemployment rate is again at 3.7. The weekly unemployment claims are way above 300,000, which is kind of a benchmark. And the NFP non-farm employment change came at 353. Now,
crazy. That was crazy.
For me, it was not so crazy, because Q4, it's also a lot of seasonality. And another thing that people are not talking about, and I think that this can be, and I still think that Buddy can be right, because he invested in those prison stocks. But he can be right, and he's already right because he's up a lot on those. But he can be right in the next 2-3 years, right?
Yeah.
Because now we can see what's happening at the Texas border, and we can see that a lot of immigrants are coming. So I have a theory, but I still need to dig a little bit before I can post a thread on it, that this was kind of allowed by Biden and the White House administration in order to, first of all, get more voters. Second of all, also stabilize the United States stock market. Because imagine millions of people just poured there, and most of those people, I don't want to sound disrespectful to anybody, but especially from Texas, because a lot of people from South America come there. At least when it's going to come to seasonal jobs, when it's going to come to farming jobs, when it's going to come to Home Depot jobs, when it's going to come to all of these labor that are like on the first class, I don't think that the job market in the United States is going to look that bad for the next few years, if you ask me.
Yeah, because a lot of influx of immigrants, illegal immigrants, and then somehow they maybe marry someone in US, they get a green card, and then they work. I think I've read a report that a lot of the new jobs created are from what you just said. Yeah, so if they have like influx of people from other countries, mainly South America, of course, the job market can look good for a longer period of time. But we'll see if Biden will not be here, because Trump has a different attitude in relation to in relation to illegal immigrants. But we'll see. But very good point. Very good point. And another point in relation to the job market being so strong is that a lot of people have 2 to 3 jobs. A lot of people, like compared to 2-3 years ago, I think the number doubled right now, as far as I read into it. So that's as well something to take into consideration.
What I'm gonna do to what you said,
what
I'm gonna do to what you said, and also to how I want to structure my framework for 2024 and how I started in January and also going forward. This does not mean that I'm gonna forget about risk management and I'm gonna forget about my usual setups. It's just that I don't think that macro for people are at our level, and who manage under 20-30 million dollars, right? Can make such a big difference. Okay, if you're one of these big boys who have a lot of money under management and you invest in different sectors, yes, you can even
millions,
I would say, I don't know, more than $50 million, and you can invest in real estate. You can invest in like diversified portfolios of real estate and also ETFs and also currencies, etc. You can weather out. Even if you start a short position right now, you can still add to your margin. If you have nice risk management, you can add to your margin for a few years and you can still be in that position and profit massively up until then. Have some hedges, buy call options, buy put options depending on your position, and you can still be in that market. But I think that it started like since 2021, 2022 mostly, with a heavy macro bearish, not necessarily bearish, with a heavy macro trend on FinTwit. And I think you can get really sidetracked about what really matters when it comes to short to medium term, and especially as a retail investor.
100%, but you need to keep an eye on it.
Of course, this was the last thing that I wanted to add.
Remember that it's not everything in relation to the analysis. It's like just a part, it's just a part of the analysis. It doesn't mean that if the macro looks very, very bad, the markets are going to collapse. So people will need to understand that because of the lag effect that can take years sometimes. And we have now like years actually in relation to that lag. But the longer the lag stays, probably the deeper the correction. But you might be right in 5 years, or you might be right in 4 years. Until that point, S&P 500 can do all-time high over all-time high over all-time high over all-time high, and then you're gonna see a crash of 40 to 50% after, I don't know, it reaches 10,000 or something like that.
Let's say it's not gonna reach 10,000. But even if it's going to reach, like I said, around 5,500 and it's going to drop 20%, it's going to enter a technical bear market, right? Like it's called a technical bear market. You're going to be still above like some important values.
Yeah, so you can show the history, actually. You can show the history, what happened in history, with the previous bear market, because this is only up. This is only up. If you scroll down, it's only up. This is what you want to be invested in, actually. So something like looks like this, something like looks like Bitcoin, like something like this you want to invest in, because this is only up on the longer period of time, and every correction is something that you want to kind of buy in this type of environments. So you can show the history. History is like up. You can see a lot of people were there bearish, right? 2000 what was it, 2008, right?
2008, 2009 from here.
Yeah, so a lot of people were bearish there. Probably they were expecting lower, and then look what the market did afterwards. So and I don't think it's gonna change till the monetary policy will change. I don't think the stock market will change. I don't see any change in relation to that. Like they do kind of the same things right now. Maybe they have more tools right now. They have
more tools right now.
So I don't see any change. If I don't see any change, I think the stock market is still going to go up on the long period of time. If something changes and they do something different, or they take another approach to the market, it might end. But for now, no. US is still the first country in the world, even if you like it or not, and probably is going to stay for years like that. Even if it's going to change at some point, I don't think we're there yet. So if that is like far away, it means that the US stock market is still gonna perform well, and of course the dollar is still the world reserve currency, and if they print a lot of money, other people can buy it as well. So there is demand still for the US dollar. So nothing changed. Yeah,
it's not even can buy it. They will buy it because
they will buy it,
need to buy it. They need.
they
I'm
need
looking.
to.
Look
They
what's
cannot
happening.
not buy it.
Look what's happening in Turkey, right? And I think I gave this example also last year when a lot of Argentina, Colombia, and also a lot of countries who are suffering from like their own currency debasement.
Why don't buy the yuan?
This is the example that I gave last year when I saw the dollar is gonna again, collapse, etc. The dollar is gonna be replaced by the yuan, and I said, listen, to all these people who are just talking nonsense online, please, just out of the blue, if you want a real example, go to Argentina, go to, I don't know if you can, go to China, even to China, right? Go to one of these countries which is really, really suffering.
Reality. Yeah.
And ask 100 people, or you ask 200 people, right? Ask 100 people, just ask 100 people, what would you choose? $100 in dollars or in yuan or in any other currency? And give them the options in their hand and see what they're gonna and just think about what they're gonna pick. I wouldn't pick the yuan, not necessarily because I don't think that is gonna most likely in the next 15 to 20 years. I think that China, if we look back in history, and if you read the very beautiful book and thesis by Ray Dalio, New World Order, right? How with all the circles and with all the cycles, how empires rise and fall and rise and fall. I think we are in that part where China comes from down and United States, and we're gonna see. But maybe this is going to happen in 2030. Maybe it's going to happen in 2030, 2035. So what the hell are you going to do until then? So this is also one of the reasons, right? I also think that China has a lot of potential going forward. And I also see the degradation, right? I see how much the population in the United States as a whole and the society is falling apart piece by piece. I see what's happening in California and San Francisco, in a lot of places around the world, around the United States. But this does not mean that they're going to lose this status tomorrow. And another thing,
it's going to take time.
Every time when a country, like if it was Holland, if it was Portugal, if it was the UK, every time when they lost their status as the number one global economy and their currency was about to be flipped, or it was flipped as world reserve, a global conflict started. So right now, the people who are calling for the collapse of the dollar or for the replace of the dollar with the new currency, if it's BRICS, SHMICS, Yuan, I don't care. It means that you want a World War III, because United States is not going to give up on the dollar as a world reserve currency without a global conflict right now.
100%. Some people said that already started, but it's on like lower scale from my point of view. Like this is not the scale that will bring the USA down and will change with China. I think it's gonna take years. I would say 20 at least. Like I would say 20 at least from now. Probably I'm gonna be, I don't know, closer to 50 or 60 till we're gonna see the first signs of like China becoming number one. But we have over 100 people on the chat. Let's ask them. Let's ask them. Would you choose the US dollar or would you choose the yuan? Leave a comment if you see this live stream. What would you choose right now? I would choose the US dollar. Probably Mr. Spread would choose the US dollar, right? 100%. I would not choose the yuan at this point. What should I do with it? I'm gonna go and do what? Because I cannot really do much. Petru said Max. That was of course dollar, says Andre, and I would choose the US dollar and buy Bitcoin. We have a smart one. Very smart. We have someone smart. Maybe you can put some comments. Perfect.
But exactly like you said, Daniel, and I think we should wrap up here and just move to other topics. One of the main reasons why I would choose the US dollar is that because I have what to do with it. It's like in what countries they accept immediately at stores or at anywhere like broader places the yuan, to pay with it, to interact with it.
Let me say something and tell people. I think that you said something very good. I think Bitcoin is more widespread adopted than the yuan at this point.
100%, 100, most likely.
What can you do now with the yuan? That's the thing. Bitcoin is way more accepted around the world than the yuan.
Pope Raul says Pope Raul says that he is going to choose stones. I hope that we're not going to do in that. We're not going to go in that scenario exactly like Einstein said. He said that I don't know how World War III is going to be fought, but I know that World War IV is going to be fought with stick and stones and bows.
Break your bones, break your bones, If you see this live stream, would help if you press the like button. That's how the algorithm works. So we would appreciate, of course, if you can do that. Just smash the like button, and then we're gonna move to. If you smash the like button, we're gonna move straight to, of course, Bitcoin, to see what Bitcoin is doing right now. I think that's an important question, because last time, if I remember correctly, we had like a small setup. I don't know if you still have it, Mr. Spread.
Yeah, I have it. If you want me to,
so that play out pretty well. That play out pretty well. I would say that setup that I wanted to see, like a dip under 40K, which we had immediately after the live stream, and then a rebound. Yeah, this was kind of a perfect scenario setup that you wanted to see for Bitcoin. And almost hit the target. I think it will. By the looks of it, I think Bitcoin will go first to 44.4, then down to under 40 now. And it's starting to grow on me, even though last time I was bearish, and I'm still not bullish on Bitcoin at this point in time. It started to grow on me because it held that level. So it did dip below 40K, which I was kind of expecting, and you were expecting kind of as well. And then it rebounded, recovered that level, and now it holds that level, way above that level actually, and it's closer to 44. Even though maybe there's not fully bullish, and I'm gonna share later to show you a little bit. I think Bitcoin is looking better and better now, actually, and I can go towards that scenario that we might form a bottom here, but I'm not there yet. Just for people to know, I'm not there. I want to see more. I want to see a bit more from Bitcoin in order for me to call, like, yeah, the bottom is here actually, and we're gonna go about 50K. But how do you see this, Mister?
That was very nice, because we were speaking about this scenario, and look what happened. In my opinion, this double fake out for me is very, very telling. I don't know how people perceive this, but let us explain, since we are here. Let's do some technical analysis one-on-one. When you have a false break in one direction, most of the time you have a deeper move, or you have a bigger move in the opposite direction. What's very interesting about what happened to Bitcoin post pre-ETF and post-ETF is that we had the false break in one direction, and we had another false break in the other direction. So this means that is a double false break. When you have this kind of double false break or a double fake out, most of the times the move to the upper side is going to be much more explosive after you I think, and this can happen after we reclaim 44,700 area. So I think after we reclaim this area, close above it on daily, and especially after we're going to take out these highs, I think we might see 55 to 52, maybe even higher, very, very fast, or much more faster than people expect, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's good. Similar, if I can share, let's just give me a second. I have a similar look on Bitcoin. Let me just see if I can find the right chart to look at. But similar for me as well. Let me see. Just a second. Yeah, let me know if you see. Let me know if you see the screen right now. Yeah, perfect. So I have a similar view as you have. We can see here that this, was kind of a fake out. We tested 42.2. We got support at 41.5 here. In this area, and then we rallied to 43.8, so close to the 44,000 level. That was very, very important for Bitcoin. Maybe a bit higher if we can put another line here at 44.2, 44.3. I think this range. So Bitcoin looks good. It's kind of a pattern here. I'm not a fan of lines because you can draw them in different ways and like adjust them like this, like this, like this.
But it looks like that's why support and resistance are much better than patterns and lines.
Yeah, so it looks like we kind of have a small breakout from the 43,167 level, and we might have a target around 44.4. I think this level for me is going to be make it or break it for Bitcoin. Again, I think we might see something like this, another attempt in this area, similar with what we saw here. And see here in this range, and I think here is going to be the decision for Bitcoin, either another fake out, and then if I see this, is not going to play well for Bitcoin afterwards, because as you said, if this is going to break out, yeah, probably your target is going to be in the cards, like 52, 53 in this area. But another fake out here at 44 and not a weekly closure above this level will make me very bearish afterwards. But now it's growing on me. I think short term we might see this level touched for Bitcoin. I think this is going to be the decision time for Bitcoin above 44,000, as you well said it afterwards. If we can find acceptance above this level, I cannot be bearish even on the short term for Bitcoin anymore, and the 50k target will be good. 52 as you said. And I think once Bitcoin go above 50k, I think the altcoin season, we might dream finally we might dream about some kind of an altcoin season after Bitcoin reclaims 50k and stabilizes above 50 for a couple of weeks. I think we can dream about some kind of an altcoin season, because the Bitcoin is like in the movies. It has like the horn, is like ooh, like gives the signal to the whole market, so I think 50,000 will be that level for me to see some kind of a reaction from altcoins. When I say altcoins, I don't refer to the ones that already rallied. I refer to the more medium ones from 2021 or even a bit earlier, that they may catch some life afterwards. The a bit older ones, not maybe the newer ones that already rallied. But that's how I see it. I think this level is very, very important. Now, to note, Bitcoin that did not close a weekly above 44,000 in over 92 weeks. So I think this level is important for me in relation to the weekly closure. So I want to see a weekly closure above 44,000, because we could not do that. It was like weeks here, a week here, a week here in this range, but we cannot close above this. But it looks good. Like it looks good right now. It looks very, very good. But I want to see this level recaptured, and then I can be bullish, like fully bullish on Bitcoin, even on smaller time frames, and I can call that okay, this might be the low at 38,680. How about trading? How do you look at this in relation to some kind of a position yourself here?
No position here.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, me neither here for Bitcoin right now. I think some business can be made above 44. Yeah. So
sorry, let me put you back.
Yeah, no problem. I think some business can be made above 44, even though you want a long or short. I think this is the level that you have to watch. What will Bitcoin do once 44,000 will be broken? Will it go here and then find support in this range and go higher? Then you might try a long position here with a stop on the previous week. Or if you see another fake out, you might position yourself if Bitcoin goes below 44, rejects, and then here you might try some kind of short to the lower level. So that's how I see it right now. I don't think it's anything to trigger from my point of view, but you can share your thoughts as well with people on the chat, and people on the chat can say, how do you look at how do you look at Bitcoin right now? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Just leave a comment on the chat.
The problem with the majority, and I think this is a problem, and I would like to address it to the majority of the people, is that they look for Bitcoin under 1 day. And I think that the biggest moves and the biggest thing where you should look at, not only for Bitcoin, but especially for everything, to see what is the dominant trend, is on weekly. So you start with your top-down analysis, you start from weekly, and after that you go to daily. For trading, it's still within a range. You said it very well. As long as it's under 40, for me, it's 44,007. So I want to see also this level.
For you, it's a bit higher. Okay.
Yes, it's just above the previous highs from here, because it couldn't get acceptance above this area, right? We also have the week from here. It was rejected. So I want to see a clear close above the previous range, because it's ranging for quite some time. However, I would not open any short, even if we go under 38, because look what happened when we went under 38. We just printed the false break. In this kind of structure, right, which is a very nice weekly
you kind of want to be long a little bit. Yeah,
I would rather wait to see a bounce from lower areas, something like this, a confluence of supports from 38 even, or even 35 if we break lower, than to try to get cute and long it. Because when you start shorting here, you're going to short against the dominant trend, and you can be wiped out very, very fast. So the dominant trend is a sequence of higher highs and higher lows on weekly. And you have to understand that the higher the time frame, the higher the conviction. So when you're going to go against it, it can reverse and you can destroy your position very, very fast. So right now, even if we go lower, I'm just looking for longs. I would either long it above 44,007 on a daily close, on a break retest, and on a continuation targeting the highs from 48 and maybe 50 to 52. Or if we break lower, I'm not going to short it. I'm just going to wait until we're going to go like around 38 or maybe 35 to have a confluence of supports to print another lower high in this higher low sequence, and long it for there for a nice swing after we recover above 40K. So if it's something like this happens, I would rather look for this kind of setup to either start a long position here, or if I want to be more conservative, if we print another higher low after we reclaim this area in order to print another higher high in this very nice weekly structure. This is how I will not short anywhere here. I would only look for shorts under 32,000.
Yeah, very well said, and I like it. I like your thinking in regards to the trend. I think the trend is important, and as people say, it's your friend, right? And you can see it on 4 hour. If you can bring me back on the share screen, you can see that the trend on the 4 hour is still bullish here. You can see that you have a higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. If you can add here. Yeah, perfect. So you can see higher low, higher low, higher low. So even on 4 hour, you cannot be bearish here. I think the level that you might want to become bearish here, it's a 4 hour closure on 42,240, which Bitcoin tested last night. So last night we tested this level and it hold, right? I think this. So if I see Bitcoin going below 42,259 here, I think I might become a bit bearish on Bitcoin. And then, I think we're going to test 41.7, 41.5, and probably lower. And another thing for me to become bearish here will be, I'll put some EMAs here just for a bit of a reference. Let me just adjust it a little bit to be a bit clear for people. We'll leave just 2 of them, the 9 and the 21 EMA. I want to see Bitcoin go below the 9 and the 21 and close daily here. So that will make me bearish because usually, and I'll show you a different case, it's on the weekly time frame, but it's still good to look at. This can be a fake out, and I will delete what I did here. This will be a fake out only if we're going to close below 42,300, give or take. Okay, so I'll show you the weekly, a similar pattern that we saw here. In April 2022. So we had a downtrend, we retested this level, we went above it, we had the fake out, and once we break below, the rest is history, So this is what I don't want to see for Bitcoin.
What's the difference between 2022 in that case fake out and this fake out?
Of course, it is a difference. I'm just looking at the structure. I'm just showing the structure.
Even on the structure, that fake out was on a weekly downtrend. This is on a weekly uptrend.
Clearly, but this is on a daily. I was referring to like this is like a lose of trend here for a small period of time below the 9 and 21, as you can see it.
Correct.
And then it retested here. It went above, and now in order to become bearish, I want to see this level broke. 42,200 something, So this level,
right.
this will make me bearish basically. But till I see that, I cannot really have a bearish bias really here on Bitcoin. I'm kind of neutral. Let's leave it like that. I'm neutral for Bitcoin, and I just want to see what happens at the 44,000 level. That's I think is going to be the moment for Bitcoin to choose a direction for the probably next month and a half, from my point of view. Okay, so that's it. That's what I want to show in relation to Bitcoin. I think maybe this week we're going to see something interesting, maybe above 44,000, and then once we have the next Monday kickoff, things will look good, and we're going to be above 50K, but we'll see.
I'm in buy the dip mode. So yes, here when it comes to trading perspective, I don't care right now because it's still in this range between 40 to 44,007. When it's gonna break one of these areas, it might take a direction shorter. But like I said, I will not short this until 32,000, and I'm in buy the dip. Even if it loses 42 and we go to 40, I have my level. So if we lose 42 at 40, I might do the first buy again on Bitcoin. At 38, another buy. At 35, another buy. Only under 35, I'm gonna become neutral. I'm going to see what's going to happen between 35 and 32, and under 32 I'm becoming bearish also.
Yeah. How about dominance? The dominance. How do you look at this chart of BTC dominance? It's kind of neutral, bullish still.
No, it's bullish.
Uh,
It's bullish.
I would not say bullish till we break above 54 again, or let's say here at daily. Yeah, I think at least 53.4 in this range. But it looks good. It looks good, but I want to see a bit more. But still, till the dominance will go below 50. I don't think any altcoin season is in the cards. Not that much. But how do you look for altcoin season? Like, what do you look for altcoin season? Like, what's
Liquidity.
your
Liquidity.
okay, liquidity, but what else? Liquidity can come and go like very fast in crypto, and you're probably gonna
No,
see it
liquidity
like
when it comes
later.
to the total 1 to total 2 to total 3. For example, if I see Bitcoin ranging right now, like we have the range that we were talking about, and I see that Ethereum starts to outperform, and it means that total 2 is going to rally. So if I see Bitcoin ranging with total 2 going higher, and after that, if I see also total 3, most likely the Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance is not, it's an effect. So it happens after we see some. It's not leading. It's a lagging indicator. The Bitcoin dominance. It's happening because what Bitcoin and also the altcoins are doing. So I'm not looking at it as a leading indicator. I'm looking at Bitcoin and I'm looking at the other ones like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and also what's happening within the total 1, total 2, and total 3. So for me, if I see Bitcoin ranging between 40 to 47, and if I start seeing Ethereum rallying towards 2007, 2009, in that moment in time, most likely Ethereum Bitcoin is going to outperform, and most likely total 2 is going to outperform total 1. So and in that scenario, then we're going to see a dump most likely, or a move lower on Bitcoin dominance. And if that happens, I can turn also much more bullish on altcoins.
Yeah, I think for me, would not be any altcoin season till Bitcoin drops below 50% on the dominance, and Ethereum goes above 3K. I think 3K is very, very important. Once Ethereum will reclaim above 3K, I think the market will kind of wake up. Like first, Bitcoin may be rallying, I don't know, 50K, stabilizes there. Then we see a drop in the dominance. Then we see some liquidity, as you said, coming back to the altcoin market. Then we see Ethereum going above 3K, and then it's a good signal for the market overall that we might finally see that altcoin season like taking place. I think it's a chance. I think it's a chance if Bitcoin go above 50K, stabilizes there. It might be a chance April, May. But yeah, that's my timeline for a possible altcoin season. But we need to see and wait for some confirmations in relation to liquidity, to how Ethereum reacts, and the dominance, of course, of Bitcoin. That is very, very important. That's how I see it basically when I look at altcoin season. But I think a lot of people are waiting for that altcoin season because a lot of people are not investing in Bitcoin, maybe not even in Ethereum, and they're investing in altcoins mainly.
Cool.
Yeah, so maybe we can touch on that subject as well. What are you looking from the new altcoins in the space, the one that launched
Very
last year and
nice.
this year?
Very
Do you
nice.
have anything on your list?
Yes, and I already started accumulating. Wait just 1 second to let me
Yeah.
pull up. Let me pull out something. Since I think the first position which I took in altcoins was last November or December, and it was Algorand. Since then I bought Injective, Tia, Sui, and the next one on my list is IMX, because it was looking very, very interesting. It was looking very, very strong last few days.
Yeah, if you can share and show
Sure.
what you're looking at, like maybe the chart, and I'll show some as well, and maybe we can go to forex a little bit in the end, maybe a DXY, or even see how the stock market will kind of open.
I think so. I started accumulating TIA. I think it was somewhere around this area first when we had this pullback, and after that the reclaim. I think it was quite late, although I was watching it since 11. I didn't buy in this range. We had the breakout, and after that I started buying it. And I think TIA is one of the most strongest altcoins when it comes to its pair, when it comes to USDT. So on TIA USDT, it has a very nice bullish structure of higher highs and higher lows. Even on the latest dip, and it had a very, very nice pullback and very nice correction of about 30%. For me, this was enough. I bought again on TIA here. But the most important thing, which I think people should focus on, is to watch the ones which were very strong on the latest pullback.
Yeah.
because when Bitcoin dropped on the ETF sell the news event, which was a sell the news, and I said also, and I admitted that it was a sell the news. In this kind of moments, I'm watching the altcoins which are very strong. Either they don't drop as much as the others, either they drop and after that they reclaim their bullish structures. And I think TI is going to go towards 22, maybe 25 very, very soon. But more than that, I would watch them in their altcoin / BTC pairs. And this was very, very nice. And TI looks like an absolute monster. Looks very good. I like how the way it formed. I like how the way it held its ground. And still it's a very nice higher highs and also higher sequence of higher highs and higher lows. I like TI. I added it to my portfolio. The next ones, like I said, it's IMX. And I think IMX it's preparing, and it was preparing for a few days for a very nice move. It has a very nice falling wedge. And I think we're going to see the 2.9 area, 2.85 area tap very soon. And in the next, I would say 4 to 8 weeks maximum, we might see a new all-time high. IMX, I didn't buy any. I think today is going to be my first purchase after we printed this first new high above this lower high. So we're just breaking the bearish structure. And like I said, mainly also because it was standing its ground in the IMX USDT pair, but also on IMX BTC looks ready to rip. I have some targets around this area.
Looks good as well. Yeah, IMX BTC looks very good. Like it's posed to touch the what level do you have there? The first yellow line you have. I think it's ready to go to that level. Yeah, looks very, very good. Yeah, TIA. I've looked at TIA since it was I think $2 to $3, and I bought at 10. Eventually, I bought the $10 level. And if people hold TIA, they might want to stake it basically because you can get a lot of airdrops if you stake TIA. For example, you could get the Outlayer airdrop. So if you have it and if you want to put it to work, you can. You just need Kepler wallet and read more into that, of course, before you do any movement. And be careful all the time what you download and so on. But if you want to go deeper into the ecosystem and what TIA does and so on, just go test some applications, go stake it and so on, and you can do a lot of stuff, not only with TIA, with others as well, basically.
I know that you and especially Ace really covered the TI and how to do it with Kepler. So I want to say congratulations to Ace. I know he covered that really good. So good job to him. On others, the ones which is looking, it is a blue chip, and I don't like right now to buy blue chips because I want to catch bigger rotations. But Link looks very, very strong, and I have to admit that Link looks like an absolute beast. We were discussing with my guys since it was under this level. It was a very big supply area, but it broke above it and looks like an absolute monster. I think Link can go towards what's this level, 26 to 28 fairly fast.
I think 30. Yeah, my top 30 at some point. I think first level for me would be 22. And then first level for me would be 22, and then probably continuation to probably around 28 to 30. You have that level very well put there. I think for me, I have a link, but very, very little. Very little Chainlink I have. I have a lot from previous bull market, a little bit. And I bought just a tiny bit in the bear market, but I'm now more interested in PETH actually, because I think PETH and Chainlink, they might rally together. And if you have the chart, if not, I can share.
What's the name?
PETH. PYTH.
PYTH from I know.
Yeah, fine. PYTH. Yes, PYTH. I call it PETH. So.
It's very good. I just didn't understand. Don't worry.
PYTH.
I know it.
So
I have two. After you finish, I have two very potential explosive charts that I want to share with you after that.
Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can find it. The one that I want to show. Let's go to this one. If you can put the share screen.
Sure.
Yeah, so this one I'm looking at right now. I think if PYTH can have a 10 to 20% of Chainlink, basically, I think this will easily go above 1. Like easily will go above 1. I think my target will be a bit higher on the medium term, but for now, I think $1 should be a legit target for this chart. Like my plan, I don't have at this point Pyth. My plan is to buy a little bit if it goes to 43 level to 38. So here I want to buy some Pyth. A lot of airdrops will come for Pyth as well. So that's why probably it rallied so well. But of course, it's because Chainlink was performing very, very well. If you remember, I don't know if you know Teller. Teller
Yeah.
did so well because Chainlink did well, and Teller now really sold off and has a lot of issues and kind of disconnected a little bit from the oracles. It's only Pyth, from my point of view, it's only Pyth and Chainlink that would really be there at the top in this field. So that's why I'm looking.
You gave me an idea because you mentioned these two, and I think if I remember correctly, when it comes to fundamentals, there is something that might rally with them. Hold on for just 1 second. And I think in the same sector, and it's much more known than Pyth, I think it's Quantum.
Yeah, Quantum. Yeah, I don't know if it's just Oracle from Quantum. I think it's a little bit in the other direction. Not only oracles, but QNT. You mean, right?
Yeah, QNT.
QNT. Yeah, QNT. It's kind of accumulation.
Looks very bearish. For now.
Yeah, looks bearish, but it's from my point of view, this will take some time, but eventually I think will rally as well. But 150 for me is like the level, like 150, if 148. I think if we break this level, we might be bullish on it. But yeah, it's kind of a bit old, from older class, so that's why I don't look at it right now. We have a small volume here at this small top that it printed in 148, so it is a bit of interest there, but I think this will take time. I think
it's gonna take time. I'll be bullish. I'll be bullish above 130. This is my
so yours is 130. Maybe if I go on daily, let's print 130. I think 130 is this, here above this wick here. If it goes above this, yeah. So if we go here, makes sense. 130 makes sense. Has a lot of resistance from the past here, and some support while it broke this level. So very good QNT. But I would not look at this that much. Still,
not now.
It's still ranging. I think Pyth looks way better for like
much better.
And you said Sui. I look at Sui is very good. I look at fundamentals as well, and finally I can see something good on Sui. The TVL is keep growing. The TVL, I think
this is one of most of the hottest when it comes to liquidity. I think Sui is going to be one of the leaders also.
And as you said, Bitcoin having a correction. Look at what happened with Sui.
It's
very well.
It's one of the most strongest one.
Very well. And then another support. My target is $2 for it.
I don't even know what's my target on Sui. I think I had it 1.9. I had the target, if I remember correctly, laid out a few weeks ago.
I think it might touch 1.92 in a couple of maybe days
it's
or weeks.
1.9.
I think it might go there. It might go there actually. What else are you?
We just got a question from Cosmin, and he was asking me what's my opinion on Mint Layer, because I was mentioning Mint Layer for quite some time. Some people in the community. Yeah, I can show the chart of Mint Layer. So this is also very, very bullish, and it's very constructive. We had a pullback of about 45%, so I think that this is in the accumulation zone, in my opinion. And as long as it stays above these levels, even if it's going to go much lower, what impressed me about them, was their team. They have very, very interesting composition of their team, and it was also extremely bullish, and it was also one of the leaders since November last year. This performed very well also in its Mint Layer, so with the BTC pair. And my target for the next bull run, and I think it's around $6, so around 9x from here.
I think this is a very bullish chart. Like overall, if you zoom out and you go on the weekly, basically, I think, still looks very, very bullish. Very, very bullish.
I agree.
I think it's gonna keep going for now. Mint Layer is one to watch from the newer altcoins, let's say, that hit the market. What else? I think Manta. Do you know Manta?
Yeah, it's already on my list.
Yeah,
and I
it's
think this is
some
gonna
kind
be.
of a competition for Tia, for Celestia. It's kind of the same with the
I think it was
modular.
looking very bullish. I don't know why I
Yeah.
don't have it here anymore, but its chart was looking very nice. Yeah. It's recovering. This is the pure example when you watch this kind of price action, because this is what the price action does before. A lot of people are going bullish here. You don't go bullish here, because that's why patterns are secondary to supports and resistance, right? So, but
Yeah.
it looks good, especially if this is gonna turn out into a liquidity grab, and we're gonna see it recovering above these levels. I think above 3.35, even above these levels from here, so around 3.2 above this area. This can be very, very bullish. I like it. I
I
like
think
Manta.
this can run. I think this can
I
run.
also think so.
Question is it gonna touch the lower line first and then run,
You mean
or
here?
yeah, that one. That's the question. But as it looks like right now, it looks like more bullish, than touching that level. But I think this week will be make it or break it for Manta. It would be nice. Like I think I would buy there if it go to that lower level.
To 2.6.
Yeah.
I don't think. I don't. By the way, look, let me see some volumes. Yeah, it might, because the volumes are
The
kind
volumes
of low.
are not great for it. Yeah, it's
You
not
want to
great.
hear? You want to hear a surprise that almost nobody's talking about?
Tell me.
And how about BNB chart, man?
Yeah, BNB
So
is interesting. It's
let
like
me show
Nasdaq.
you.
It's
Let me
like
show you
Nasdaq.
something absolutely amazing. I was trading actually on this one. So this was a reverse head and shoulders.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have the print screen, but I cannot. You know what? Let me see if I can find it here, and let me see if this is the one. Yeah.
I still hold a lot of BNB, man. So
Hold it, because you might see a very nice surprise. Let me open something for you, because this was something that I was look at this a little bit, okay? So look what I was looking at, and I think this was like, yeah, December 9. This is when I drew this, okay? So on December 9, I drew this, and I was waiting for this type of continuation, because it was shoulder, head, shoulder, inverse head and shoulders. This is the neckline or the supply area.
yeah.
Let's watch. Let's watch what BNB did since then.
Yeah, it performed pretty well.
It didn't perform just pretty well. It did almost like on
broke out,
one-on-one,
yeah.
exactly that pattern. So it break out, and after that, it had that explosive move. Now this happened. Okay, Mr. Spread, you had that move. All is good. What can happen with BNB going forward? Well, let me tell you, because it printed another very interesting pattern, which is the cup and handle. So right now, it has a very nice cup. It has a very nice handle, and if the buyers will manage to hold the price above 290 and break above 313-ish area, I think we can see a very explosive move on BNB, which is going to teleport it to 350, maybe even higher. And this can be the altcoin season the next few months. This looks very, very good. So if you want,
for
we
me,
can.
still the 360 level is to watch. If that breaks, I think that might be a bull market confirmation for BNB actually, and we'll see where it's gonna stop, because it's reaccumulated for a while. And what helps BNB is that they have a lot of projects on the launchpad. Even Manta launch there. So that helps BNB a lot. So if they will still have a few in the couple of months, I think a lot of BNB can be locked again, and we might see that happening. And selling pressure dropping. You don't need much if you don't have a lot of supply. Like you don't need much to push it. Yeah.
Especially that all the food with CZ passed, and right now,
there is one more though in March.
I know there is one more in March.
There is one more in March that he might be going to jail for a couple of months probably, but we'll see.
It is what it is. He already backed off when he had to, and yes, this can also be a bull flag. We have the comment from
bull flag 100%.
This can be also a very nice bull flag, and it's a overlay of multiple potential bullish scenarios. This is already a reversal pattern, because this is a cup, and we have the handle, and now this bull flag can send it much higher. We just need the confirmation. For me, the confirmation is just going to be above when it's going to take the highs, the previous lower highs from 313, and after that, of course, I also need to see that breakout with volumes. I don't have
the altcoins are ready. I can see they just need a signal. That's my view right now. It's like they just need a signal that like Bitcoin is not going to go below 40K again, and then they can probably run very, very nicely. I think they're like altcoins are like waiting now to see Bitcoin holding or not holding, or what's happening here. And then if the market will see Bitcoin going again, 50K will be like, okay, the low was inward 38, let's go. So then probably
I
a lot of
think
liquidity will like flow in out of the sudden.
I think that the best scenario which can happen right now is for Bitcoin to break above 44.7, 45. Let's just fucking call it 45. Go above 45,000 on daily and also on weekly. Continue higher, take out the high, the previous high with the pre-ETF launch. And after that, if it's going to go towards 50, 52 and have a retrace, and after that going sideways, I think this is when the altcoin season can really start, because we're going to put behind all the other shit that happened with the selling pressure from Grayscale, the 9, which are the 9 institutions which absorbed all the big selling pressure, like 10,000, 12,000 Bitcoin clips in fire sales from Grayscale. And with all of this behind, with the halving being in like 1 month and a half, 2 months, I think that we can have the first rally, like the first proper alt season of what's going forward. We got a question from wait just 1 second, from Philip. He was asking me regarding Sandbox. I'm going to put the question here one more time. This was something that it was on my radar because it had a potential move forward, right? It had a very nice setup, and let me show you what I was talking about back then. Unfortunately, since then, it kind of disappointed. So I was watching this and I saw that it's breaking out from this massive bearish downtrend, which was staying under all this bear market. It broke above, it kind of retest, and we had continuation. Unfortunately, it couldn't stay above this area. So to Philip and to everybody else, yes, Sandbox, it's still on the correct narrative. If you ask me, one of the correct narratives, which is gaming. But unfortunately, it has something that a lot of other altcoins from the previous cycle has. And also have, it has a lot of bag holders, which are going to suppress way more the potential growth than the others. Yes, we're going to have exceptions, like we had Solana, maybe also Injective. So there are going to be the exceptions which are going to confirm the rule. But when it comes to my allocations, I would rather have the likes of Sui, Celestia, or some of the new ones like IMX. Okay, also IMX is a little bit older, but I don't like to have in my portfolio for 2024 coins or projects who have a lot of bag holders from the previous cycle or 2 cycles. Okay, I'm not talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum. I'm just talking about the others which have this kind of pattern. So look what happened to Sand. It had this very nice breakout, and instead of rallying, 400, 500x, or not x percent, so 4 or 5x, it just fumbled the back here because most likely a lot of sell pressure came here.
Yeah, and it was another thing. A lot of coins hit the market lately.
Yes.
So inflation, so that will not really help Sandbox at this point in time. But from my experience with these altcoins, they usually do this. So they have a first rally. If you look at DOT, if you look at Theta, if you look at Sand, if you look at all of this, they have kind of the same pattern. If you look at eGold as well, so they have the first rally, and then they have like a slow bleed. Yeah, slow bleed. And then they form another local bottom usually, and probably a month to will probably rally back up and like higher. I've seen this in 2019,
I
2020. Similar.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, similar. Maybe
besides this, I want to share with you, because I wanted to speak about something very important. I have a theory that I want to present to you and also to everybody who is here, and it's something very important that I want to touch upon. And there's going to be a correlation of multiple factors, and with one chart that I think I told you about from TXMC, who was correlating the chart of United States PMI for manufacturing with Bitcoin, and it was quite correlated, if you remember that. But in order to arrive there, so in order for us to arrive to what I'm going to present here, in order for us to arrive to this chart, which is the correlation between United States manufacturing PMI and Bitcoin, and the manufacturing PMI is leading Bitcoin, right? So we can see that we had the rebound, and after that the rallies, and when the PMI was dropping, we also entered the bear market. Very interesting. I don't know how he found this correlation. Credits to him. So if you guys want to follow him, I don't agree with everything what he says, but when he's right, and when he provides a lot of alpha. It's not important if we agree all the time. We're not in echo chambers. It's important if
we're not right all the time. So
100%, nobody's right. If someone says that is all the time right, or he's never admit that he's wrong, just run away. Okay, but let's go back. Before we arrive to this chart, I want to present everybody, you included. I want to show you something else. And this is how beautiful it is if you understand how you can do intermarket correlation. Today, before the market opened in the United States, we had the financial results for a company which I'm very interested in because it's a barometer for different sectors like industrial sectors. And this company, it's called Caterpillar.
Yeah,
and Caterpillar results for Q4 of 2023 beat expectations, and they were absolutely amazing. So look at what was expecting, right? So last time it was 3.86. The expectations for the shares were 4.73, and they beat the expectations like 5.23. So look what happened. The revenue was also quite good. Year to year, it went higher. But everything about their financial statement, if you read them, it's an absolute stellar performance. And I think Caterpillar has a very nice chance to rebound and also to go much higher this year. So please bear with me because this is the first piece of the puzzle or the theory, right? After that, the algorithm from X sometimes is very nice. It brought me something from someone that I don't agree 90% of the time, but he brought something very interesting. Yeah, I don't like him in a lot of cases, but Andre Stenson brought something that I really like a lot. How is this called? ISM. So he brought in attention. So please correlate Caterpillar results, which is also in the manufacturing sector. It's in the heavy machinery sector with what's happening with the ISM manufacturing above 60 this summer. This is what is the title. So how he does this, he watches the correlation of the South Korean semiconductor shipment year to year, which is a leading indicator for the ISM manufacturing
That's very
sector.
interesting.
Okay, so it shows that the semis are pointing for the US economy to reaccelerate, and it was quite correlated. As you can see, the South Korean semiconductors shipment for year-to-year change is very high, which can show that the PMI for manufacturing in the United States can go to 55 to 60, right? So what do we have right now? We have Caterpillar, which posted amazing results, which helped the manufacturing sector and all the industrial sector, the heavy machinery sector. We have this post from Andrea Steno and this very nice correlation between the semiconductors year-to-year change with the ISM manufacturing sector. And the last piece of this puzzle, and to really correlate everything nice together and the cherry on the cake and the topping on the pizza, comes this. So if the PMI, with what Andrea said and also with the result that we have from Caterpillar, if the PMI can rally towards 60 based on the semiconductors shipments from South Korea, and we can see the PMI reaccelerating towards 60, it means that also most likely Bitcoin is going to go towards the all-time high and much higher based on this intermarket correlation.
Not even Bitcoin, but all markets.
Most of the market, yeah.
I think I have a saying. I think we're getting closer and closer to a bubble than a crash.
I agree also.
Like the formation of a bubble in this point in time than a formation of a crash.
I agree.
At this point, yeah. So we'll see how the things react, but this was very nice, and thank you for sharing. Yeah, and I think the people on the chat will really appreciate this kind of analysis. And yeah, I think maybe we can stop here at 1 hour 21, but let's see if people have questions. Maybe we can look at Ether. We did not look at Ether, and
I have a very nice chart. I have a very nice chart for Ether. If you
I am very bullish on Ether till
Me
May.
too.
So till May, I think we should get to 3K finally in Ethereum.
We had this since October. We had this very nice formation of higher highs and higher lows. So we had the high, we had the low, the high, the higher low. When we broke above 2,145, so in December, I also turned very bullish on Ether. We printed another high and another higher low and another higher high. What was very important for me, it was absolutely clinical, it was that the buyers would maintain the price above 2,145. As we can see from here, all the way since December, Ether could not find acceptance under this area. So this became a super important area of weekly and monthly support, and also on the higher low in this very nice structure. Now, after this pullback, this higher low was respected, and I had it with a question mark until today, actually. But now this is another higher low. And if we break this trend line first, which is secondary, actually, but for me, more important would be to get, again, Ether above 2,400 area to go above these previous highs from here and above the higher high. And I think if we do that, the first area, which is going to be 2,700, is going to be open. And like you very well said, I think 3,000 is going to come much faster than people expect. I have to admit that I was a bit disappointed with the sluggishness in Ethereum right now. but it is what it is. And this is my opinion, and I think you also said it before, until we don't see Bitcoin rallying again a little bit, Ethereum catching up and outperforming in the ETH BTC pair, and after that, all these two elements cooling off in Bitcoin and Ethereum ranging, I don't think we can see a broader market altcoin season.
Yeah, I think the market should first realize that Bitcoin might not go below 40K right now. And once the market would kind of realize that, probably they're going to say, okay, we kind of miss Bitcoin. Let's see what's next. So I think that should first what the market should see, like should see that Bitcoin, okay, it's above 50K and like it's very, very stable, and then probably the money is gonna flow into altcoins. But we'll have to see. In regards to Ethereum, I'm very bullish. You point very well at that level that Ethereum has to break that first line. I think above that 2.4 something, I think above that line we can become very, very bullish, and then the targets of 2.8 to 3K, it's in cards. Even if Bitcoin, like Ethereum, is gonna go below 2K, I'm still gonna be bullish and I'm gonna buy that. So if the market will give me the chance again to buy Ethereum under 2K, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. This is not financial advice or anything. It's just what I would do. Like if I would see it under 2K again, I would buy Ethereum. At this point, I bought a lot of Ethereum under 2K, and I'm gonna continue and do that if the market will just give me that opportunity. If not, just write it all up, and we'll see where Ethereum can go. And of course, you probably might know Ethereum is now number one in my portfolio. If we exclude USDT, which I still hold around 30% of USDT in case of something, like in case of I don't know, an unexpected thing in the market, I still hold around 30%. But other than that, second is Ethereum, then third is Bitcoin now after 1.5 years. So I have high expectations. Let's see from Ethereum till May, but we'll see. Again, it's an upgrade coming. Then Kun for Ethereum, I think it should be in March ready. So that will really help layer 2s as well, but Ethereum overall. So maybe in the end we can look at Arbitrum, and maybe we can just call it a day. Let's say.
Yeah, sure. We can wrap it up with Arbitrum. By the way, to what you said, that I agree a lot. The only thing that I would do different is that under 2,145, we might just bleed a little bit more and go sideways a little bit more. But under the current conditions, with United States indexes at all-time high, with Bitcoin being so stable and so strong, although we had such a big sell pressure, it's very hard for me to be even remotely bearish, even short term or medium term. No, this does not mean that I'm going to ape in. Like you very well said, your holdings for now, I'm 45% exposed to the market. I'm still heavily Bitcoin, but I also have some of the altcoins that I just before mentioned. However, I still have 55% in dry powder in order to buy if something bad happens.
Yeah, you still have a lot to buy if something happens. I only have 30%, but I bought at the kind of lower levels mainly, and now I'm not really buying because I already have, let's say, bags.
Very nice.
Bags.
Let's see.
Arbitrum is interesting from the point that in March 87% of the supply will hit the market. So that's why it's interesting right now. Arbitrum,
let me see if it's the spot one, which I have very nice. That's quite a big chunk, and I don't know if I would like to be in that position to hold it when that market is gonna be refilled with that Arbitrum. Okay, now I have.
Yeah, you think it's gonna have an impact, bad impact on the price?
If
depends on the market, right? Depends on the market. If market is bearish, of course, it's gonna accelerate the downside.
If Ethereum is gonna rally, also Ethereum betas are gonna rally most likely. But this looks very bullish if you ask me, even on weekly. So that's why I started on weekly. This is above the previous all-time highs. It had a very nice correction of about how much? 36%. It bounced after that, and it's still above the all-time highs, the previous all-time highs since of last year. So Arbitrum looks really good here. I think next level is 2.4, and it looks real primed for another all-time high. Let me see here.
It looks good.
This looks not exactly, but almost like Ethereum. So I think it just replicates. This is Ethereum beta. So when Ethereum is gonna start rallying, also this might rally more actually. in
Well, it's the most
percentages.
important layer 2 at this point, Arbitrum in regards to TVL. So it's very, very important. But the 87%, yeah, does not sound well, but depends what the market does. It doesn't mean that the 87% is going to be sold immediately, because people don't understand that. Depends what type of market you're in. Yeah, if you're in a bullish market, people might be, okay, I'm not going to sell my Arbitrum here. Because it might go higher, so I want to sell higher, and I don't want to sell here. So it's debatable, but depends what the market will do in March. If we have a bearish market in March, I think we're gonna have a very, very big crash on Arbitrum. If not, if the market is stable, I think it's gonna keep going. And for now, we don't have any signs actually of a crash on this chart.
No, it looks good, and that's why I started the weekly and also on daily. It looks very nice, but especially above this area. What's this area from here? Let me see the point. So above 1.75, this looks very nice. I would not buy here, and I would not trade it here. I would just wait
I
for
hold it. I have a position on my main
above this area.
portfolio, like TI. I bought at 76 cents. I want to
Wow.
buy more if it goes under 1.5, 1.3. I think there, yeah, on those lines that you have, I want to buy that, but I don't know if the market will give me the opportunity or not. Market will do whatever. I'm just waiting to see if that level will be touched. If not, I'm just gonna ride my position. Did not sell anything yet, so I'm just gonna ride that position, and we'll see what targets Arbitrum have for the bull market. Maybe a 5, maybe a 10 would be good from me. From that point, I would do more than 10x. So not be bad.
I think your targets are very, very reasonable, especially the 5-1. I don't know
Realistic,
about,
yeah.
they're realistic. 5-1 is very realistic. Between 5 and 7, I would say,
Yeah,
almost the same.
yeah,
But we just need the market. We just need lead the market to decide. One thing that I think it's another thing that I think is very important to add here is the fact that this market can be much more explosive, in my opinion, than the other ones, because right now these people who almost gathered in 3 weeks of ETF, spot ETF, as much as Saylor tried his best in the last 3 years or so, right? So I don't think that the future crashes can be as bad when it comes to percentage. Of course, we can still see 35 to 40% crashes, but right now the whole sector changed a little bit when these big kahunas came from
the sector,
and also the view on the sector. Or I cannot believe that some magic internet money, it's sitting in billions of dollars in the portfolios of Franklin Templeton, Van Eck, BlackRock. Guys, BlackRock is the biggest financial fund in the world. They have more money than God. They have $13 trillion under management. So they're a country more. No, they're like a continent right now.
Yeah, they're kind of like a continent. So they hold.
So what I would like to say is, like, broaden your view. Don't look at so much when it comes, at least to invest. If you're a day trader, fair enough. You can look daily, 4 hours, 1 hour. But if you're investing, please look at the weekly, because weekly we stay very good. And I think exactly, I'm gonna wrap it up with this, and I'm gonna let you finish if you want to add something else. On weekly, as long as we stay above 32,000, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, and I'm looking to buy all the dips on spot. I'm not looking to short Bitcoin. I'm not looking to short altcoins. I'm just looking to long and buy the dip on any of these kind of pullbacks on spot. When it comes to trading, if I'm trading, I will long. I'm also looking for longs as long as you stay above 32 after we have a bounce and some market structures being recovered.
Yeah, fair enough. For me, as a conclusion, short term, I want to see 44,000 recaptured, 44, 44.2, in order for me to become bullish on the short term as well. Till then, I'm kind of neutral at this point. I want to see what Bitcoin will do in the next few days. On the macro, like medium to higher time frames, I'm very bullish. I think this might be the year. I think the planets are aligning for that 100K Bitcoin eventually, because of the selling pressure, because of the halving, because of BlackRock, because of all of this. Finally, I think the planets aligned for Bitcoin to go there. So yeah, that's my view. And I think in what you said at the beginning, with altcoins maybe going higher, or the market going higher that you expect, expect. It's usually what happens in crypto. So you have a target, I don't know, for Arbitrum at 7, it does the 30 or it does the 50 most of the time. It's because that's how crypto works, you know, and it still works like that in this cycle. In the next one, we'll see. But in this cycle might work like that. But on the downside is the same. You have a target, I don't know, okay, Bitcoin goes to 30K and like finishes the bear
and
market.
It goes to 21.
And it goes to 15 or something like that. So it goes the same way. You know, if you're in a bull market, your targets probably are going to be like blown away. And in the bear market, same, your targets are going to be blown away, as like it's going to be even lower that you expect most of the time. That's why it's important to not sell everything at once if you want to sell. And just do it step by step. Don't exit the market thinking that you're a genius. Oh, I'm going to catch this top, because market is going to keep going higher, and you're going to look at it and maybe FOMO in later on when it's going to be a top, and then you're going to hold the bag for another 3 years afterwards, you know. But if you sell like here like DCA in, DCA out for beginners, is very, very easy to understand this concept. If you're not a trader and other stuff, this concept is very easy for you. Do not sell everything, do not buy everything with your portfolio at once, and you're going to be okay. You're going to be sane. You can sleep on the pillow during the night time very, very well. If you want to play something else, good luck, and maybe you're gonna make it. Who knows? But yeah,
I want to add one more thing here, because we are still in the in-between period. I don't think that we started the bull run.
No.
And for everybody who is watching, and for everyone who's gonna watch, and I think I'm gonna say this at least one time per month, or at least 2-3 shows. Remember this to whenever we're gonna have the bull run and it's gonna be a huge euphoria. Please remember what Daniel said and what I'm gonna say now. This is not a contest about who has the fucking diamond hands. This is not a contest to prove me or Daniel or any stranger on internet that you're right or wrong. It's not a contest to do 500% or 700%. If you managed from your initial investment to do life-changing money, please take those life-changing money, most of it out of the table. I know so many people who invested $5,000, $10,000, they reach $200, $300, $400,000, and they bag hold it all the way down and even on minus. Okay, so please, whenever the euphoria is going to come, it's going to be very hard to still be balanced and to still be disciplined. But please, if you did life-changing money, and this also comes from my experience from the traditional markets and also from the bull run, I took profits, but I could have taken much more profits. So this comes from experience, not from books. Please remember, it's not a contest from diamond hands. Don't believe in people who are pushing you new narratives. Don't believe in people from biased communities or maxis who are trying to keep you inside so you can become liquidities. Just sell along the way, like Daniel said, DCA in, DCA out, and you're gonna have a very nice time. But don't get into the FOMO and don't believe all this diamond hands bullshit. Because
on top of that, very well said, Mr. Spread. Very well said. I think on top of that is interesting to try to diversify in other sectors. So, for example, you made a lot of money in crypto. Try to diversify. I don't know, real estate, stock market, index funds. I like something. Try to diversify it. Like, don't keep it there as like, okay, I made 200K from 10K, now I want 1 million, and now I want 2 million, and now I want 10 million, and so on. Try to diversify a little bit, and you'll see that you, on the long run, you made the right choice. You know, even 100%. If the prices will keep rising and keep rising, at some point the music is gonna stop, like usually does. Like, nothing goes up forever, nothing goes down forever. So yeah, try to diversify and don't be greedy. I think don't be exaggerated greedy. You might be at some point, but don't be exaggerated greedy. Think about that most things end at some point, and you want to be diversified in other. Don't be like a horse, just look forward,
I think
see nothing.
You open my mind to something, and I'm gonna end it to this. I think that the next bear market can take 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I already said it, I think, a couple of times. I think this and might not be for Bitcoin, might be for other coins. You know, Bitcoin might not perform the way it did in the next cycle, the way it did in the previous ones. Might be a bit different from the market. I think with all the ETF and so on, might not have that high volatility. But I think altcoins, will probably suffer, most of them, in regards to liquidity. I think liquidity is going to be harder and harder and harder to get for them because of regulation in the next few years. So it's going to be very, very hard. If people would not learn how to trade on decentralized decentralized exchange would be very hard for adoption of other altcoins. That's I'm gonna leave it there.
Daniel, I really want to thank you for another great episode, man. It's very nice to have you as a partner in these discussions. I really hope that people appreciate the kind of alpha that we bring. I really hope that they appreciate that we don't always agree, but it's a respectful debate. And for more, if you want more of this engagement, and if you want more people to find out about, unbiased, fair, cold content, hit the like button, follow Real Daniel Nitsa, follow Mr. Spread, and see you next time, shifters. And see you next time, Real Daniel Nitsa community.
You have the links in the description as well for the Twitter accounts, so you can find it there as well. Thank you, Mr. Spread. Thank you, guys. And
have a great week, man. See you next time.